Greetings, and I would like to welcome you to the very first episode of the Live Poet Society, brought to you by HCMG TV. I'm your host, Black Peace, the extraordinary writer, and today I bring forth to you a masterpiece entitled The Poet, the poetical overall expressions of thought, penned by yours truly. I would like to take this time to start with a message from yours truly. First off, greetings to all of you who have chosen to allow me to entertain your thoughts with my poetical expressions, commentaries, and philosophical quotes. The idea for this project came about on a whim, just a simple thought that was conceived after attending various open mic poetry events. Though I enjoyed a lot of the works I heard, I myself wanted my poetical debut to be a step above the rest and a deviation from the norm. I am the self-proclaimed king amongst the paupers, so therefore the concept for the book The Poet came about. But with so many poets with books out as well, once again I wanted to be a step above the rest, and within a matter of weeks I had amassed a collection of both poems and modern day philosophical quotes. I then came up with the idea of adding commentaries so that the reader would have a more vivid and detailed understanding of the thoughts behind the actual words, and also to show the prophecies that one's words can speak. Poetry to me is a voice from deep down within your soul, that which is unrestrained and unfiltered, to all of you, not just specific parts. It is the only truth floating around in this sea of lies, for it is the revealing of one's own mind. So my mission was not to let the reader come up with their own theories on my work, but to answer any questions they may have had. My journey throughout life is documented in my work, so therefore you get a life experience with every line, and so it should be explained so that the meaning is fully understood, as one would expect for many misconceptions in this overly opinionated world. I call myself king because if you look up the word sovereign, that is what it means, and therefore that is what I am. The paupers that I am amongst are of course the poor, thus being the physically, mentally, and spiritually. And who would think a 9th grade dropout would have the gall to take on Washington, D.C. all by himself, but I did. So the title is not only fitting, it is one that is also well deserved. I truly hope my words reach as many people as possible so that we can spark a mental revolution, and so that the meek can finally inherit the earth which has been theirs the whole time. We need to let go of the word struggle, for it is now time for us to progress. We all start somewhere, but people tend to stay stuck in the same place, lost in the introduction to the book of life, never delving into any of its many chapters. I have always had an inkling that I was destined for greatness, but it wasn't until the age of 37 that I truly understood what greatness really was, let alone whom I really was. You see, the beauty of illusions are the bewilderment of life, and many of us choose to partake in the illusion, steadily chasing and pursuing dreams when it is in fact time to wake up. Life has always been about evolution, and the Mother Earth stays evolving, and those that do not evolve with her will soon perish, as all other civilizations have before us have. The revolution of change has already begun, and just by thinking on your own, the battle is already won. They have controlled your train of thought for far too long, and now it is time for you to emancipate yourselves and no longer just be pawns in this sinister game. Let the words of all poetical expressions of thought manifest light unto this world which has been consumed in darkness, and finally bring forth an end to the sword and a victory for the mind. Black Peace. At this time I would like to bring forth the dedication. I would like to thank all of those great thinkers, poets, novelists, teachers, philosophers, as well as our ancient ancestors that left the clues to lead us to the high knowledge and overstanding. Then to all of the true rebels that fought for a cause and that let no one deter them from their mission to better humanity. To all of the freedom fighters who have not for them, some people will not even have the small liberties that they do have. And last but not least, to all of my fellow sovereigns who with just the very breath they breathe speak rebellion to any and all tyranny. Let the revolution begin. See, growing up I never imagined myself as a poet, nor a writer. Now, maybe as a rapper. But I do remember watching Cooley High and remembering him preach, quoted that poem by Walter Benton, where I Pygmalion of God, I will make you exactly as you are, from your warm head to your intimate toes. You will be holy in your own image. I will change nothing, add nor take away. I honestly believe it was at that time that I fell in love with her poetry, that is, and how her words could flow off the tongue and the lips and captivate the mind, body, and the soul. It wasn't until 1995 that I penned my first poem. It was entitled The Nigga's Mentality. And at the time I was 19 years old, and the life expectancy for black males at that time was 21 years of age, so I was 2 years shy of my life expectancy. Please excuse my dog, he's so very disrespectful. Plato, sit down. I'm talking to the people, Plato. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. It's called A Nigga's Mentality, so you can kind of get an idea of the mind frame that I was dealing with. At the time I was incarcerated. I believe my son was 1, going on 2. My first son. It's pretty deep. But at this time, I'm going to share that with you. It's just a nigga's mentality to do what he got to do. Blame it on the hard times this niggas be going through. Them that don't understand never walked in a nigga's shoes. Dealt with the hard times, the struggling, the nigga blues. I hear him say nowadays that niggas ain't good for shit. But you gave me the 9 that I do all my killing with. And you put the crack in the heart of my community. You played with a nigga's mind, so now there's no unity. It's a fucked up society, but still I try and be the best that I can, but stay second to some half a man. And then they wonder why my finger's on the trigger. I guess it's just the mentality of a nigga. The word nigga. Growing up, I believe the word nigga to be a derogatory term for a black person. But the definition of the word nigger, N-I-G-G-E-R, means an ignorant person. And there's no way you can change that, and ignorance has no color. I had to learn that later on in life. I learned ignorance has no color. So it's not a derogatory term for a black person. Because if you look about now, you hear white people calling other white people nigger. Which goes back to the true definition of what nigger means, ignorance. So that's what you've seen all around. Anybody spewing the word nigger, or the nigger's mentality, is spewing ignorance. Even if it's a white person who's spewing it to a black person, that white person who's calling the black person a nigger is really the nigger because he's ignorant to himself. He thinks his superiority reigns supreme, and that our inferiority is something for him to step upon or walk upon or trample upon when he feels like it. True definition of nigga is ignorance, or a person that's ignorant. And ignorance has no color. At the time I wrote that poem, I was a 19-year-old. And technically I was an adult. But maturity only comes with experience. Ignorance is only shared through gaining knowledge through those experiences. So don't let anybody ever tell you you're an adult at 18. No, you're just a debt slave, or you're able to be taxed, or things of that nature. Take time to let yourself mature from out of the ignorance that was embedded in all of us, or instilled in all of us, because we all were given a distorted history to make us niggas. It's time we share that niggas mentality. The revolution is at this present time. I present to you the poet, the poetical overall expressions of thought, written by yours truly, Black Peace, a king amongst the paupers. Please enjoy. The revolution won't be televised, this time it's going to be heard through the art of spoken word, similes and metaphors combined with adjectives and verbs, giving off enough definition so that the whole world will understand its meaning. It will have people dangling on the edge of their seat like participles as the poet speaks, spilling his or her soul until the ink runs out and the page is full. Like it, man. When I was young, I used to tell me hip-hop ain't got nothing on old school. And that wasn't nothing but the truth. I'm gonna take this time to talk about the revolution. Revolution won't be televised, this time it's going to be heard through the art of spoken word. That poem was crafted out of a strong desire for change, and not in the sense of warfare, but in the sense of consciousness. And letting spoken word, or poetical overall expressions of thought, become the leaders to the people, to lead them out of that spell of ignorance that they're under. There is no reality in TV. So therefore, only words of substance are going to bring people out of their bondage, or their mental bondage that they're under. And until we follow a different drum and a different rhythm of life, then, man, we stay stuck in the same space. But in reality, revolution begins with just a thought. So as you can see, the revolution has already begun. The negative and positive forces wage war in my mind. I sit as the commander-in-chief, overseeing the battle, avoiding the wrong decisions, attempting to make the right choices, ignoring the many taunting voices. For I am he who is in charge of this vessel that holds my soul, a soul they wish to capture. So therefore this soul I must defend up until my dying breath. That's music right there, the good old Gil Scott. Yeah, but as for the poem battle, I mean, life is a battle within itself. Very few people are chiefs or commanders in their own lives, no matter how hard they try to pretend to be or portray to be. But those who are chiefs, they oversee the battle, constantly waging with good and evil, negative and positive forces throughout their life in hopes that they achieve, learn their purpose of this. You know what I'm saying? Going through all the hardships, turmoil, trials, tribulations that you go through. Because they are out to get your soul. You have to be aware of that. And you must defend it. And if so, till your last dime, bro. It's a crime when time after time know nothing about this shit here, man. One good old Gil Scat, man. You know what I'm saying? One of the first rappers. The world is but a carbon copy. Originality has become a virtue, and to be different in a world that is all the same seems strange. The things held valuable are really of no value, and life's worth can be sold for chump change. Hey, man, it's a beautiful day, man. Beautiful, beautiful day, man. Beautiful music, beautiful day, man. Beautiful life. Bless, 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 bless. Now, as far as sameness, man, when you look around you, what do you see? You see so many people, not trendsetters, but trend followers. So many people follow. Whether it be Twitter, Instagram, everybody following, but everybody looking the same. Ain't nobody out here leaders. Like the poem says, originality has become a virtue. People are scared to be different. And the people that are labeled weirdos. Me personally, I love being a weirdo. Because I feel it is us that add spark to life. When you look at the things that people hold value, they really don't have no value. Because they can be here today and gone the next. They don't hold no substance. And that's what we need in this life, substance. And you can sell, people do sell their soul for chump change. What's the minimum wage out here now? But when you look at it, change is inevitable. And that's the stage that we're in right now. The stage of change. Revolution has begun. Like Iceberg Slim, I pimp my pen. Often writing in red to symbolize the blood from my veins as it flows unrestrained. See, I pimp my pen with no limits, so that my words fly high beyond the sky and the naked eye. Only writing when my feelings unfold, straight from the heart and the depths of my soul, hoping it is felt like braille by the blind. All of that which is unveiled from my mind. Deep are its meanings, and broad as its text, having you infatuated with one verse, leading you to lust for the very next. Like Iceberg Slim, I pimp with my pen. Shout out to Robert Beck, rest in peace. Donald Goins, some of the great writers. Blood, the red is to symbolize the blood. Because that's the ink, because what you're writing from is from your heart. What pumps through your veins. And you always want your words to go or soar higher than others. Go over people's heads, so to speak. I mean, the rest is, you know, self-explanatory. It's just %100 truth. Like, that's why I love poetry, because of the fact that you can, like, you can do more than you can do in rap. See, rap, you still have to cater to your audience, whereas with poetry, it seems like the world is your audience. And really, you could care less if the world accepts what you, because it's you, it's what comes from your heart and from your soul. So you could care less if the world embraces it, because you know it's your own personal creativity. So it's like you can just be elaborate as you want to, but that's how I look at it. But I read Penn and read a few books by Robert Beck and Donald Goins. When I looked at poetry, it's like the art of seduction. So I took the words, and those are, dark as black marbles, drained of fear, remorse or feeling, no sign of emotion. Closer look reveals the devil's flames, for his soul is ablaze. But see, the fire only fuels the desire to see pain brought to his enemies and hurt to his foes. To end an existence is merely just means for survival. His rival is but a pawn in his sinister game. Just outminded. Running to a friend. Down the street. Down the street. Where I live. Wow. Yes, Lord. That's that shit there. Yes, indeed, man. See, that's what I love about the commentary, because I can relax in bed, and I can, I can tell it like a T.I. is. Next point we're going to talk about is the eyes of a killer. Dark as marbles. Drained of fear, remorse, or feelings, no sign of emotion. And that's exactly how it is. When you look into, I look into a lot of lost souls, I call them. They ain't really killers, you know what I'm saying? Your environment gives you your perception of life. So if you're born into an environment of poverty, where you feel you told you a slave, and you know everything that you got to work for is twice as hard or 3 times as hard, those things create that mentality, as well as the violence that's projected towards us on television, because that's actually where I saw my first murder, was on television. So when you include that to certain situations, because I do believe situations are the crime in life. So when you put in certain situations, you react a certain way. And you become, so if you're introduced to savagery, you become savage. But yeah, when you look into their eyes, everything that I'm saying in that, as far as the devil's flames, like you see people with no, like you just see through them. Like they don't have a purpose. Their purpose is destruction. And anybody that crosses their path is a pawn in their sinister game. Simple as that. Food, as they call it. As I look out at the broad horizon, I think of opportunity, knocking on closed doors, needing to be open, realizing I cannot and I will not let the chances pass me by, chances to make a difference, or the chances to see life for what it really is, to overstand the true meaning of living. For right now, I know not what it is. Hey, save for Ashley, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm saving for Ashley, brothers. Yeah. Next one we're going to talk about is chance. Well, I look at it like people do let chances pass them every day. Once again, stuck in contentment or dealing with the same old same. It's like the opportunity is there. All you gotta do is just actually think. If we, the people, would just think, man, the world would be a much better, mellower place, man. Believe it or not. And if people took chances and stopped being scared, it goes back to like the dark, you know. They fear the unknown, so they scared to take chances. But when you don't take chances, you don't try to advance yourself in life, then you really never get a full understanding of it. And that's where a lot of people get stuck at. Don't be scared to take chances. Just make sure your chances are well thought out or well mapped out. But don't be scared to take chances, because that's how we create geniuses, billionaires, and creative entrepreneur minds. I miss you so much, but I could never tell you that. Because you see, the time that we're apart, it's time that was much needed. See, we both were like two time bombs, just waiting to explode, and in the midst of each other, destined to detonate. So at the same time I'm missing you, I'm reevaluating too, exploring the magnets that brought us together, exposing the faults that broke us apart, and hoping you too are doing the same. How many of y'all been in a volatile relationship? Raise your hand. Well, that's what this poem entails. And it's basically one person in that party distancing themselves from a situation that they know can be detrimental to both parties' health and lives. Disruption, disharmony is not something that should be tolerated at any cost. Because, I mean, you both can move on and find happiness elsewhere, just not amongst you two. But it's pretty much just hoping that the person that you separated with or separated ties with is taking that experience and building upon it, and hopefully in their future relationships or endeavors or whatever ventures that they enter into, that they take that experience and they can grow upon it and might make a better situation instead of a worse situation. Sweet as honey, hair like wool, yet soft as silk, eyes dark and wide like the universe, smile as bright as the sunlight glaring off of freshly fallen snow, lips as full as the moon on a starless night, skin beautifully blended to a tone of golden brown, and with a frame so well endowed. But see, your outer shell is in no comparison to your inner soul. 'Cause see, in there is where lies the true makings of you. Sugar, honeysuckle land, a great big expression of happiness. Boy, you couldn't miss with a dozen roses. Such would astound you. The joy of children laughing around you. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, to coincide with the song, we will be talking about the poem, The Makings of You. Well, I just wanted to capture like black beauty and also show females where their real beauty lies, on the inner beauty. Like I look at a rock of the females out here now and how they, I hate to use the term, but skin holes, because they flash a little meat that that's what they use to get the physical attraction. But then after that, then what? Which really lies, I mean, where you really lie at is on the inside. Like, where's your creativity at? What's unique about you? Or what things, what ideas or things do you have to bring forth to the world? Like, because you are greater than the sum of your parts, your ass, your titties, or whatever. See, I'm a sapiosexual. See, with me, intelligence is beauty. So I'm gonna ask you what's up with your mind. I can keep that. That was good. I'm a sapiosexual.
I'm gonna ask you what was up in your mind and the substance.
Okay. I'm gonna see where your substance lies. See, I can just click me in. I'm gonna be like, I'm trying to see where your substance lies. Okay. See, I'm trying to see where your substance lies. And even if you haven't. Afraid of the dark. Because its depths are unknown. Swallowing all that is bright and leaving nothing for the sight. Since my eyes can't adjust, I see no evil, only hear it. Like a blind man, I try to feel my way, but end up disoriented and confused. No sense of direction. Unaware of the path in which I'm headed. Sensing danger with every step. Never knowing what is in the next. So I stay in one place. Never moving forward. Feeling that is the only way safe.
Now listen. You're pushing my love a little bit too far.
Moving, hands, slow grinding. Why you need to do your little slow hand dance off that thing, you know?
And your friend anyway.
Yeah, dig.
Tell you all she seen.
Next poem discusses the dark. The darkness represents the unknown, which the unknown represents ignorance. And ignorance swallows everything that's bright, meaning intelligent. And then when people fear the unknown, so it's like they I'll tell you about it. They fear the unknown. It's like they scared to move about in the darkness. When you're ignorant, you definitely don't know where you're going. So you're liable to stay stuck in one place. It's like you see a lot of people out here that are stuck in one place. You can come back 5 years later and everybody might still be right in the same place. Like never moved up out that spot. It's like contentment or something because of the fact that you scared to try something new. Like I know a lot of people that have never been or never left DC or never been other places. There's a lot of people that never left Atlanta. Never explored uncharted terrain because they fear, you know what I'm saying? They're comfortable in their own square, so they choose to stay on that square. Never progress. My eyes are mesmerized by the glare of the sunrise, for it allows me to partake in another day, to breathe a new air of life, and a chance to make wrong into right, and to put a suture to old wounds left open. A new horizon offers a new start, as well as a new beginning before we reach the ninth inning. The game is over. Fight, baby. You gotta know how to fight. Fight for your mind out here. That's one thing I love Curtis Mayfield about, man. Never went mainstream, man. Only one of them jokers to really keep it real, keep it 100 all the way, you know what I'm saying? Never went mainstream. Kept putting intellectual relevance to the world. The point we're gonna talk about now is sunrise. Every day you wake up and face a new day is another day that you can bring about a change to something that you did right. I mean, something that you did wrong, you can make right, or just, you can take that day as the first day is the rest of your life, as they say. You know what I'm saying? It's all about taking advantage of that new day. And not doing the same thing you did the day before or the previous day. Because it's all about change. And change comes at any time. And it's something that's inevitable. It's going to have to be, everybody in their life is going to have to change. And it's going to be either for the good or for the bad. But each day you wake up, you look out there, and you see that sunrise, then you know that it's time to get on the ball, because one day it's all gonna be over with. But you gotta take advantage in that pristine time, in between time, and make the best out of what you're given. Life is what you make it. Make it a heaven for yourself. Make it a heaven or a hell for yourself. Many people never live life to the fullest, nor do they ever fully embrace death. Therefore, it is often sudden, in the still of the night, over the flash of light, the angel of death appears, bringing with him the greatest of fears, leaving loved ones to mourn and close friends to grieve, and tears that flow, creating streams of sorrow. So for them that promise tomorrow, I say a prayer of peace, in hopes that they reach the gates of pearl, deceased in this physical life, hoping that they are blessed into the next world.
Chance of fragile place, running on empty. A smile so faint, barely even break the world's on shoulders now. Don't be afraid, you know we'll make a way. It's word alone, it's what hands can mean.
Man, that's a deep joint right there. Shout out to my man Anthony Hamilton. Passed me over. Make sure y'all play that at my funeral if it ever happens. Yeah, it is. But on that subject, let's speak about deceased. And many people never live life to the fullest, nor do they fully embrace death. Like, my conception of death is far more different than other people might think. To me, that's like another stage in life. You see what I'm saying? You have to go through that. It's all a process. But I think a lot of people get caught up in the physical aspect of it and don't realize that man is in three parts: mind, body, and soul. So when the body is gone, you still exist in two dimensions. That's what a lot of people got to think about. But just imagine this. Just imagine if you looked at death in a different way. And if you didn't look at it as the end of your life, maybe it might have been the beginning of your life. Let that marinate for a minute, man. Like an angel that fell from grace, destined to be put back in its rightful place, but all in due time. Might not be the next second, nor the next minute, nor the next hour, or the next day. It's only when I gain the control to submit my soul, only then will I gain the strength to tame my wild thoughts and to sow my oats and direct my will to the place I belong. Until then, I must dig deep, deep in the subconscious depths of my mind to bring me back to the truth, the wisdom, and nature of understanding life, to relearn my purpose, and to let my purpose begin to learn me. Well, that about does it for the first session of the Poetical Overall Expressions of Thought. I hope you did enjoy the brief introduction to the poet, as well as the introduction to me, Black Peace. I hope this episode was enlightening. I hope that a lot of you people will be looking forward to purchasing the book. That will be beautiful. But at the same time, what I present to you is just my work. So you can get an in-depth look into the mind, a method to my madness. But nah, I'll be looking forward to a whole lot of stuff coming from HCMG TV, as well as films, Moving Minds Entertainment. Got a lot of things going on. But Project ELO, Love Over Everything, the embodiment of love over all, powerful movement. Project ELO is uplift women, Truity Nation, yeah, to uplift men, create a balance between us. So everything that I do has a purpose and has a reason. It's not just living for myself or out of my own selfishness. It's actually out of selflessness, because everything that I do is going to fund projects that I'm trying to put forth to the youth, schools that I'm trying to build for the youth that teach them critical thinking, independent thinkers, free enterprise, corporatized minds projects, things of that nature, so that we can get a better economy for ourselves and be more productive and not destructive. I hope this poetical overall expressions of thought have enlightened your mind, hopefully elevated your conscious level. And if you think that this is just the tip of the iceberg, second session. Well, before I do lead though, I did want to share this one thing. I didn't read it in the beginning. In the beginning of the book, it is a foreword. I just didn't go through all that. But I do want to read something that was written by P.O.E.T, an old friend of mine. In light of his magnetically unique state, women naturally gravitate towards a being like him for one reason or another. Some merely enamored by the effortless charm and charisma he has had since his lower state, but arguably since birth or eons before. And then there's the physical looks that he was blessed with to embody the wit. But what is most striking to a more awoken woman about a rare individual like him is the power and zeal within his mind and how his spirit carries and executes it, and also impeccably leads with it. It is safe to say I notice all of this in Black Peace, but the latter rings loudest in the history of the formation of the foundation of our spiritual, essentially cosmic connection and friendship. My moments with him, both before and after his transition, were and will always be infinitely powerful, cherishable, and unique. His presence has had an infinitely powerful effect on me and recurrently inspired and commanded me into taking an honest and in-depth look at the subsequent exaltation of my higher parts of self. The following poem I wrote a little while back with him in mind and is a reflection of that. I'll share that with you right now. It's called Ignited in His Name. The highest branches of my desires snap and fling into the wings of his ridicule of me. My soul collapses and plunges into the unknown. Like a corpse into a body of water, I am far from emotional, but I'm torn apart that this man cannot recognize the true essence of me, or how layers of it exist in his name. Yes, parts of me live in his name. I still adore the unique queen in me more than any other entity, but I cannot ignore how a few dozen of my daily heartbeats thump to the rhythm of my thoughts of him. Every few hours you could say that my heartbeat is a heartbeat produced by the spirit of Black Peace. His essence entered into my mental centripetal. My brain samples his energy, downloads it to my heart and loops it. My cells spin the sacred beats, using my chakras as turntables, scratching the hardest on number one, the root, the place where his energy first entered me and lodged deep between there and my sacral. Every lustful but grounding and connective bump and grind we ever did remains etched there, sacred and telling, like the first hieroglyphics. As I witness him ascend, his energy within me follows suit, winding up the entire length of the snake along my vertebrae, making her swirl to a high-pitched tune, but as loud as his energy bumps up and down my spine, with no pause, fast forward or rewind. He doesn't hear it, but I sure enough feel it. It's reached the most sacred spot, chakra number 7, my crown, where a small flame stays lit there in his name, just above the same spot where he kissed my forehead at my third eye, giving me all the sensual energy I'll ever need from him. Though I yearn for more, no intercourse, just a few more kisses upon my mental, or maybe one long never-ending one. So maybe I could quiet his criticisms and get a chance to really channel my thoughts, my power, my goddess-laden potential into him through his lips and down into his throat chakra, so that I may rewrite the words he in turn speaks of me. I want him to speak nothing but my perfection and greatness closer into existence. And when it is here, I will to own it, but for it to match his. But while it comes, I will him to anticipate it patiently, with no words, but the ones my evolution channels him to speak. I'm going to take time to keep learning myself and do my thing, while aiding him as far as my spirit wants, infinitely. I want him to realize my unique spirit comes from the same place his does. I may not have lived up to it yet, but that doesn't change its origin or preordained potential. I want to be able to say I know him the deepest, the root to crown distance of depth. And I want to be able to dislodge my heart, turn to him and say, here, you keep this. Your name's written all over it anyway. And light it on fire in my name and ump the ashes beneath my crown. I take heed to what he teaches. He doesn't know how deep it reaches. Can he please just submit to me, but still reign as king? I have no choice but to submit to his spark, which has lit within me in his name, because his smoke rises, forming the letters and burning the essence of my own. Black Peace.
You know, I hear a lot of people say chivalry is dead. But first, let me show you. This is where my mind is at. Let me show you what time it is. Bingo. 6 in the morning. Discussing love off the dolo. You see, I am love, man. These other niggas fake as shit. You feel what I'm saying? But like back what I was saying, like, they say chivalry is dead. I don't believe it to be dead. I believe it to be unnecessary. I mean, women settle for anything, settle for less. All it takes is 3 things to get them. And it doesn't even take those 3 things. I mean, if you got the nice car, you got a house, and it doesn't even have to be a good job. Like, what the fuck is a good job? If you look up the word slave, it says a person that works hard. So any person that works hard is a slave to me. You feel what I'm saying? It's about working smarter, not harder. Get that shit up on my head. Same thing I tell my dumb ass baby mothers. But we ain't even gonna get into that though. They're just, ignorant. But this is what I'm boiling down to, is that chivalry is not dead. Chivalry is just unnecessary. Because women have set their standards so low that, man, it doesn't take, man, all it takes is some good dick. And I hate to be blunt, but it's the truth. All it takes is some good dick. Little ass convo. I listen to this shit. Big ass for a reason. I sit and listen. At the bar, I just listen to the conversations old conversations that I've used that leaded to a one-night stand or leading me to taking some female home. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much. So chivalry is not dead, it's just unnecessary. Another topic I want to touch on is what the hell is a hopeless romantic? Because my key word would look at hopeless, disparity, or, you know what I'm saying, having no hope. So that means what you're doing, you're putting forth all this energy and equate it to love or trying to be loved, but in the end, it's not fruitful, or it's not producing. It's not going to produce anything but the illusion of love that I see so many people in, so many things that women don't really want love. They just want to bask in the illusion and then cry about it later. And that's from my personal experiences. And when I speak on what I'm speaking, I speak from, I got 3 kids' mothers. I got 22 years, got 12 years, and I got 7 years of relationships with childbearing relationships. You feel what I'm saying? Not counting all the other miscellaneous relationships that I've had throughout my life, you know what I'm saying, that I look at as some as necessary experiences, others as fun rides, you know what I'm saying. I don't knock anything because life is experience, and without experience, then you don't gain wisdom. So now I have the wisdom now to talk about these situations, and from a mind where I'm not trying to get into your drawers, I want to get into your mind. It's just that I find that a lot of women have shallow minds, meaning conversations aren't creative. It's, oh, what do you do? Oh, yeah, this and that. Oh, for real? Oh, okay, well, shit. Let's hook up. Let's go out. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. My first conversation with you is, what creative things do you do? Because I need to know if we even are, is this conversation even worthy to continue on? You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to sit here and talk no dumb stuff to you. I'm going to talk about making moves to get higher in life, or, you know what I'm saying, out of situations that we're in, or that's just me. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to sit and play footsies with you. I'm not going to sit and we have a good run for a good 3 months, and then after that everything breaks up, because that's how that shit runs. You feel what I'm saying? If you look at all the people with marriage certificates out here, so pressed to go get married, had this beautiful wedding, have, you know what I'm saying, hundreds of people there and all this shit, but none of them put the focus on making that shit last. You see what I'm saying? Because it's about making shit last. You see what I'm saying? Unconditional. I wear, I don't know if you can see it, you can't see it, but it's a Zebu symbol for unconditional love that me and my wife both share. You see what I'm saying? But that's 22 years. You feel what I'm saying? And no, we were not together the whole 22 years, but it's 22 years of knowing and growing with a person. You feel what I'm saying? And if a female can love you after having kids with another female, then that shows some strength right there in y'all's relationship. And then another thing, when we speak about relationships, it's like the word relationship stems from relations. So anything before you have sex with a person is a friendship, and that should be something that people need to value. You know what I'm saying? Friends first. That's how I look at shit now, because I got a lot of, I got a lot of females that I would have rather been my friend, or might have been my friend, and we had relations, and you lose a friend. You feel what I'm saying? It's different, man. It's a lot behind that sex. There's a lot behind sex. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot behind it. It's deep. It could be draining for both people, because it's like with sex, that's what everybody equates to love. That's how I feel. Make love. You can't make love. Love just is, man. You know what I'm saying? You just let it be. You can't be in love then out of it next week. You see what I'm saying? You were never in love. You were either in lust, infatuation, many different things. But love, I don't think a lot of people know what love really is. It's deeper than the superficial illusion that's been portrayed to people. You can't buy love. You know what I'm saying? You can't sugarcoat love. Love is, man, so big of a force. Love to me is the only emotion. And that's what Project ELO is. Love is the only emotion. Jealousy doesn't exist in love. Hate doesn't exist in love. Envy doesn't exist in love. Lies don't exist in love. None of this exists in love. Love just is. And once you're in it, you don't want to be anywhere else. You see what I'm saying? But and you only want to be around people that are in it with you. You feel what I'm saying? Shit deep, man. Shit real deep, man. But you know, that's the poet mind. And that's just another facet that I like to get into. I do classify myself as the self-proclaimed philosopher of love. If anybody wants to get closer or deeper, come holler at me. Let me know.
I told you didn't know what love really is. You're far too shallow, got too many fears. Told you to let go and let me, but you didn't listen. Mind so tantalized by that which glistens. But see those thoughts, I simply dismiss them. See, money can't buy you happiness, so let the simple things bring you joy. The sun, the moon, the trees, the stars. See, they hold the keys to who you really are. See, a superficial woman is only half a queen. You ask me why? Because her mind is too preoccupied with material things. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I'm working 9 to 5 to be all clean. But if I pursue my own, then they call it a dream. Want me to weigh my odds out on a triple beam. But you don't know half of this shit these eyes done seen. Cause you know stretched out on the murder scene. And the suspect, he done got away clean. No remorse felt, never notch up under his belt. But uphold your rep, keep shit quiet as kept. See some crap the road that they bet. Cause what you see ain't always what you get. Yeah. And I regret some of the things I done, but learn from the mistakes of some. And oh, what this world has become. But see, I stand tall through it all. I could've chose the bail, but see, I chose the ball. Even after fall, now I ask where the fuck were all of y'all? Nowhere to be found or to give a phone call. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. An emancipation proclamation was signed on the dotted line, stating the freedom of your physical, but not of your mind. Then comes the hard part about life. Trying to get back what you lost, you did with hard times and strife. You say this can't be right and left to wonder what went wrong. Cause each and every day it's just the same sad song. You know the one that if you hear again your head's gon' crack. Don't even know my Uncle Sam, but yet my pockets get tapped. What am I to be in this society that I call home? Can't win for losing when confusion be surrounding my dome. I'm for liberation in my nation, but it's seldom found. So when the truth becomes reality, it will outstyle and dumbfound the many one. Still under the spell of sleep, making bad seem good. Life look easy when it's deep. Just take a look around, we's in the last days of our time. So it's all up to you to emancipate your mind. I got everything to prove, nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. I got everything to prove, but nothing to lose. Sometimes they got me feeling sad and it often make me mad. Got me thinking to myself, like, why you treat me so bad? So I escape instead, steady taking bobs to the head. And my nightmares catching lead, wake up my eyes be blood red. Spent many nights alone, tranced in solemn contemplation, while destruction and devastation run rampant through my nation. But still a man I try to be and face fucked up society. Took a sworn oath to not let devils get a try at me. Cause if I do, that's when my life will expire. Become another lost soul, just more fuel for the fire. They want me to work 30 years just so I can retire and be slave to their system with deceptions to desire. I'm trapped up on the physical plane of the insane. See some sap wants to go and put a chip up in my brain. On my hand, letting political ballers capitalize on your dollars, while we only excel and do well as criminal scholars.